What is up, podheads? Today we have again Pride Audio. Today this is the Ruby Performance 6.5-inch mid-range wideband-ish type speaker at $210 a pair and 200 watts RMS. It's a pretty cool speaker. It does feature a replaceable cone. You got to pull the speaker to replace this one though. And the surround that goes all the way to the edge of the basket, another innovative, neat feature of this speaker. Let's take a look at the data and see what it does. Looking at the overall frequency response of this speaker, it is fairly linear, but it is not very flat. The output does increase as you go higher in the frequencies, with a large jump starting at about 4,000 hertz. And that jump is about 8 decibels, so keep that in mind. Low end wise, I say it starts dropping off at about 150 hertz and will play all the way up to about 12-13K. This speaker requires 10 watts in order to reach 110 decibels, and the output at 110 decibels again stays fairly linear, but not very flat. And distortion at 110 decibels stays very well maintained at about 5%. Giving this speaker 100 watts of power, distortion does rise above 10% at a couple frequencies, with a couple tiny little spikes that may or may not be audible at about 620 hertz. Output at 100 watts climbs up to 120 decibels. This speaker does get very loud, and the top end is peaking up at about 126 decibels. Can the speaker take the 200 watt RMS rating? I think it could do it, but you're already at 120 decibels at 100 watts, so I don't know why you'd want to give it more power than that. Plus distortion, I think, is going to rise up to get into the 20% range, which may or may not happen. I don't know. The Ruby Performance from Pride Audio for $210 a pair with a field replaceable cone. This is a pretty neat speaker. Overall frequency response is fairly flat, not very linear, or is fairly linear, not very flat. Does have a rising top end. Plays well from 140 hertz, I'd say, up to about 13K. Distortion stays very well maintained as long as you keep it under 100 watts. But yeah, other than that, man, it's pretty cool. Peace.